ਹੁਣ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਖਬਰ। ਫੈਡਰਲ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੜੀ ਅਹਿਮ ਅਨਾਊਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ। ਇਹਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਵੀ GTA 'ਚ ਸਨ ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਅਨਾਊਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਕੰਸਟਰਕਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟਲ ਚਾਰਜਸ 'ਚ 50% ਕਟੌਤੀ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਇੱਕ ਪਲਾਨ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪੈਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਚਾਰਜ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟਲ ਚਾਰਜਸ ਨੇ, ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ 50% ਕਟੌਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਏਗੀ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਮੀ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਪੂਰੀ ਕਰੇਗੀ। ਇਸ ਪਲਾਨ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਅਸਰ ਪਏਗਾ, ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨੇ। ਮੇਅਰ, ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਥੈਂਕਸ ਫॉर joining.
Morning. Great to be on your show.
Mayor, how do you respond to the federal and provincial plan to fund a 50% reduction in developmental charges?
Well, it's a welcome start, a welcome news. I would say they're not funding the 50%, but every little bit helps. And so it's $880 million a year. So it's over 10 years. So $8.8 billion over 10 years. So it will certainly encourage more development charge cuts like we've seen in Peel Region. As you know, Peel Region already took the lead and cut development charges by 50%. And in Brampton, we cut development charges for purpose-built rental by 100% for rental buildings, for the rental units that we need the most. I would say that this is going to encourage that type of leadership in other parts of the province where they haven't made any reductions. But just to give you a sense, $880 million is only a fraction of the cost. Just in Peel Region alone, we probably have $2.5 billion worth of development charge related infrastructure that's necessary for housing in the coming years. So if Peel Region is $2.5 billion, just imagine what the whole province is. So $880 million is helpful, but it certainly doesn't cover the cost of the type of reductions that we need. And what development charges pay for are things like wastewater, so the pipes under the ground, the sidewalks, the roads that pay for housing. Right now in Ontario, every time there's a new subdivision, it costs all other taxpayers money. Growth does not pay for itself. We subsidize it. And so just when you see a new subdivision, don't think that means more money for the city. It actually means less money because we have to subsidize the cost of those pipes and sidewalks and roads.
So you mean Brampton won't be able to cut 50% with this funding?
We already have in Peel Region. We were the first in the province. What I'm saying is the funding does not replace what has been reduced already. Development charges in Peel Region, Shameel, pay for three things. 40% go to the city to pay for housing-related infrastructure. 40% go to the region of Peel, and 20% go to the province of Ontario for schools. And so when you cut development charges, there's a cost to that. But what I was saying, and I think we need to, because people are struggling to afford housing today. But I just don't want anyone to think $880 million a year for the entire province of Ontario would replace what is being given up on a local level to make houses more affordable.
Mayor, do you believe this move will lower home prices, or will developers absorb this savings?
I don't know. To be honest, my worry anytime you see development charges cut is that it's not passed on to the home buyer. What I would say is one of the reasons we made this cut in Brampton and Peel Region wasn't necessarily because we thought it was going to drastically reduce home prices. It was because nothing was being built, and we needed to encourage the construction sector to start up again. I'll give you an example. We haven't really had any purpose-built rentals, so apartment buildings built over the last 10 years. Once we brought our a development charge cut for purpose-built rentals, now we have 8,000 units in the queue. And so that's a huge economic impact. All these new apartment buildings being built, is an economic stimulus. That's construction jobs. It's restaurants being busy. They're trades, skilled trades being busy. And so there is an economic benefit, especially at a time when we're struggling with the U.S. tariffs, Trump's attacks on Canada's economy. Having an economic stimulus through construction is very helpful for our economy. And so I think that's the bigger benefit from what the Carney and Ford government announced yesterday. This will be an economic stimulus that will be very helpful.
Mayor, some critics say red tape and slow approvals are bigger barriers than developmental charges. So what's your city doing to speed up the process?
Well, Brampton has among the fastest approval times in the province of Ontario. You know, when I started as mayor, we were near the bottom, the slowest city. Now we're among the fastest. When I started, I think it took 4 or 5 years for approvals. Now we're down to 8 months. I think only Milton is faster than Brampton right now, but we are among the fastest in the country now. Having said that, there is work that needs to be done. There's due diligence. You know, you need to make sure that proper safety protocols, building code, fire code are being met. We have to make sure that a new home, a new building is safe and up to code, but we try to do that as fast as possible in the city of Brampton.
Mayor, what Carney and Doug Ford announced, that there's also taxpayers' money. So many residents feel that they are being hit from all sides with taxes and fees. They pay developmental charges on new developments, pay property tax to live in the city, and then various other charges. And on top of that, they pay GST, HST, as well as income tax. So as a local leader, how do you respond to this concern?
Well, I think it's a valid concern. I think in Canada, there is too much tax. A lot of Canadians are struggling with an affordability crisis. And it's why I think you really need to look at every expense and say, is this justified? Is this needed? I would note in Brampton we had a property tax freeze this year, really to speak to that reality that we thought people were struggling with the cost of life. I would note that of your tax dollar, only 8% of it comes at a local level. 92% of the taxes you pay at a provincial and federal level. And so we are probably the leanest level of government at a local level, and we probably do the work that affects people the most, the roads, the garbage collection, policing, paramedics, firefighting, recreation. Those are all things that are paid for at a local level.
And there is another perspective on DCs. Some critics say that developmental charges are too high and that the calculations may be based on inflated infrastructure costs. Do you think these calculations should be reviewed?
Well, they do get reviewed. Every time you do a development charges study, the industry comes in, it's audited, and it's based on the market conditions at the time. And so I'd say, if anything, it's probably a little bit underinflated. What we've seen post-COVID is that construction costs have gone up. And so we probably didn't account for that accurately enough. What it costs to build a recreation center or a road today is higher than it was in 2018 or 2019 before COVID. So I don't think that is inaccurate. I can tell you, certainly in Peel Region and in Brampton, we don't see any inflation on the estimates on what the housing infrastructure costs.
And before you go, I'd also like to ask about road construction. Some residents feel the work is never-ending and frustrating. Do you think the city needs to review its road construction strategy? Could the city potentially save money by reassessing these construction contracts?
Well, on a local level, any construction contract goes to a competitive blind tender. So people put in their bids and the lowest price wins. Having said that, I get just as many complaints about people who are upset with seeing a pothole or seeing infrastructure in poor repair. I think it's important that we keep our infrastructure up to date, and roads have a lifespan. And just like your car will have a lifespan, you don't want to leave your roads in a poor state of repair. And so, we in Brampton and I think in Peel Region for regional roads try to make sure that when there's deficiencies, we try to fix them, because you end up getting legal claims against the city if someone damages their car in a pothole.
Mayor, anything else you would like to add or say in closing? Any message you would like to share with the residents?
No, just, I think we've won the lottery to live in Canada. I think this is the best country in the world. We're always going to find challenges, and right now housing affordability is a challenge. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world, and we'll find our way in Canada to deal with this issue as well. There's no problem that I don't think this country can solve.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Thank you.